Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Calliope bracelet, and this was designed by me. If you have an Instagram, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I posted this I think a day or two ago, and a lot of you guys liked it, so I am here doing a tutorial for you today. I haven't uploaded an original design of mine in a while, so I'm just going to do this one, and then we'll just go from there. So this is my original design. I made it up, like I said before, a couple days ago. And I will have my Instagram name in the description box below, but if you didn't already know that I have an Instagram, you can check that out, or you can just, I don't know, if you don't have an Instagram, you could get one if you wanted to. And I'm going to show you how to make this today. So what you're going to need is, I dropped it, a hook. I'm using a double-ended crochet hook, and you will need a C-clip and some bands. Today I will be using a color pattern similar to that in this bracelet, but you can use one however you like. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is grab 4 of your main color, I guess, which in this bracelet is the neon pink here. The neons on camera really make my camera flare, so it's kind of hard to show them, but it looks really nice in real life. So anyway, taking your first band, which is just going to be a simple cap band, just put that on your hook, and then you're going to take 3 of the same color and make sure that they aren't twisted up. Just keep them all straight, and you're going to pull that cap band on. And then what I like to do is just reattach them one by one so that they don't get all twisted up. So this is what it will look like now. You'll just have 3 bands like this. And the next thing we're going to do is grab one each of the colors on the side. So in here it is ocean blue, navy blue, and neon purple. Today I am using yellow, lime green, and purple. So taking your yellow band, whichever one you want at the bottom, I'm going to pull this yellow band through the first 3 loops and pick up those first 2 closest to your hook. Also, I forgot to say in the beginning, this is inspired by Late Loomer's Lorax bracelet. That's why it may look a little bit familiar to you, and I will have her name in the description box below. I just remembered that now, so sorry. But yeah, this is inspired by her. If you've made the Lorax bracelet, this should be super easy for you. So, taking your green band, you're going to pull it through these 3 loops, the 1 yellow and the 2 brown. And then before you reattach, pick up that one closest to your hook and put it back on, and then reattach the green. Make sure that this brown is in between those 2 green loops. Grab your purple. This time you're only going to pull it through those 2 bands, the 1 green and the 1 brown. And then you're going to reattach that. And I'm going to slide mine down to the other end. If you need to, you can transfer it, but you know, it's up to you what hooks you have and that kind of thing. So if you do transfer it though, make sure that your bands are arranged so that this inside brown band is going to be connected to this purple band on both sides, just so that it gives it a nice clean look. You're going to take 1 each of your next color. You're going to pull the yellow onto these first 3. You're going to lift those 2 closest to your hook and then reattach the yellow. Make sure those brown bands are within those 2 yellow loops. Grab your green, pull through the first 3, and lift that first one, making sure that it's in between those 2 green loops. Grabbing your purple and just pulling it through the first 2 loops. There we go. And once you have finished with that first section, it should look something like this. Your bands at the bottom might be a little bit weird, but that's just because it's the start of the bracelet. You can always adjust them as well. So now what we're going to do is take the band that is this sparkly blue in here, not these 3, but this next one. In this bracelet, it is this neon yellow here. And I'm just going to be using my burgundy again. So what you're going to do is aim for these 4 center bands. We want to get those onto this band. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull through all 6 of the first bands. Then I'm going to lift those 2 purples back onto my hook. But if you want to pull those purples off and then hold them while you pull this brown band through the center 4, you can do that as well. It's just personal preference. And now you should have 6 loops on your hook. what we're going to do is get two more of those brown bands. You're going to pull the center brown band over and in between those two purples. It's a little bit difficult for me. And pull it in between those two purples. Make sure that it does go over the purple, not underneath. And then what you're going to do is grab your brown band and pull it through those now first two loops, which should be your one brown and your one purple, and reattach. So now you should still have 6 loops on your hook, just a little bit different. You're going to slide it down to the other end and do the same thing. So taking this inner brown, you're going to pull it in between or over and then in between those two purples. Grab your other brown and then pull through those first 2 loops. So now you should have 6 loops on your hook, and my band down here is really going crazy, so you can always fix it later though. Then after you do that, we're going to restart the process. So go ahead and take 3 of your brown bands, and you're just going to simply pull all 6 of those loops onto those 3 bands, and then I'm going to reattach them one by one so that they don't get all tangled, and I think it just kind of helps. And so now it will look something like this. Again, grabbing one each of your colors here. Grab your yellow, pull it through the first 3 loops, your 3 brown loops on your hook. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because the bands are tighter now. You're going to pull it through the first 3 loops and then pick up the 2 that are closest to your hook and reattach. Grab your green, pull through the first 3 loops, and then lift up this one closest to your hook. And then lastly, you will just pull this purple band through those 2. Go ahead and pull this down to the other end, and we're going to repeat it on this side. So again, grabbing one of each of the colors. And obviously, if you want to use the same color, you can. So pulling it through the first 3, lifting the first 2, and reattaching. Again, pulling the first 3, but this time just lifting the first 1, reattach, and then lastly just pull through the first 2. So that part is pretty simple, I think. I know it didn't used to be so simple for me because I had trouble with the Calliope bracelet a while ago, but it's pretty cool. I fixed it. I fixed my problems. So I have it all down now. Now I'm going to take 3 of my brown, and in the first one we're going to pull through those 4 centers. So I'm going to pull it through the first 6, leaving these 2 purple on. And then before I close, just picking up these 2 purples, and then I will just rearrange them. Make sure that you do rearrange them, because if your purples are on top of the brown, it won't give you the same look. So next thing you're going to do is take a brown. This is just another way I like to do it. Is just pull through that first purple and then grab this brown and pretty much pull it over here, but then just pull it over the end of my hook. It's just simpler for me. So going all the way to the other end. So where you would normally just pull that brown into the center and then pull it on, I just like to kind of leave it in the center and then pull my purple on and then just pull my brown over. But it's up to you. And then from here, you're going to attach your next loop. And I'm going to continue doing the rest of this later after the video. Oops. And that's why I have to be careful with my hook, because the bands always come off. So just pulling that brown band through all the loops, and if I do all 3, usually that happens and I have to adjust them. So when you go to finish this, instead of pulling 3 loops through the next section, you will just pull 1 up at the top, whichever color you like. It can be whichever part of the bracelet. So yeah, so that's all I'm going to have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. So, and make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. I will have my Instagram name in the description box below if you want to check me out on Instagram and give me a follow. I always post my original designs there before I post them here, just to make sure that hasn't been made before. So if you do want a sneak preview, you can go ahead and check that out. And that's all I'm going to have for this video, so I hope to see you next time.